Hello, welcome to Lagan History on YouTube. I'm going to look in this short video just on what was Home Rule for Ireland. One of the key factors in the late 19th century, early 20th century, and it explains a lot about Irish affairs throughout the 20th century. So what was Home Rule itself? It was basically a demand for an Irish Parliament in Dublin to deal with Irish affairs. It had its roots in the 19th and early 20th centuries, and it really was considered to try to gain that there by the 20th century. Ireland, as you know, has been ruled directly from Britain since 1801 in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, but this meant that Irish MPs were going to London, going to Westminster, and were trying to make decisions and make laws from there. You can imagine Irish MPs compared to English MPs would be very difficult to make key changes for the island of Ireland. Union of Britain had not really been successful since 1801 for many Irish Catholics especially. Despite being connected to the largest empire in human history, the most powerful economic empire, it hadn't really worked out very well for Ireland whatsoever. In the 1800s especially, within these islands you had a huge famine broke out. This was the Irish potato famine. It led to the deaths of over 1 million Irish people, and it led to over 1 million as well emigrating around the world to the United States, Great Britain, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. This would really lead to the great Irish diaspora across the world. But this was happening on Britain's doorstep at a time whenever its empire was at its height. Ireland today is still the only country that has fewer people today than in 1840. This disaster itself would lead to really big increased demands for Home Rule. Just remember, Home Rule isn't complete independence, it's only like a semi-independent, semi-halfway house. Ireland would still, it would be able to have its own parliament in Dublin, but would still retain the British King or Queen, and it would still also have many of its laws made for it by the British Parliament in Westminster too. They held what was called reserve powers. That would include things like foreign affairs, the Navy, defence. That would all come under the British Parliament still. So they still retained quite a lot of power. However, the Irish people were reasonably happy with this arrangement, and they really did want to have Home Rule. The Irish Parliamentary Party, or IPP, would spend most of the 19th century campaigning for Home Rule, and they were successful in getting two votes put forward in the 19th century, one in 1886 and one in 1893. However, both of these votes were rejected. 1886 it was rejected by the House of Commons. 1893 it was rejected by the second house, the House of Lords. And there is a reason behind this. A lot of MPs, and particularly a lot of peers, a lot of people in the House of Lords, actually had landed estates in Ireland. They had vested interest in Ireland, and they didn't want Home Rule to go through. They didn't think it was going to be in their interest to push it through, so they rejected it. So it's definitely in their interest to keep Home Rule off the agenda. On top of that, not everyone in Ireland actually supported Home Rule either. While Union had been very unsuccessful for people in the south, in the north hundreds of thousands of Protestants had actually gained from Union. It had made them very wealthy. It had helped them build especially huge industries like linen and shipbuilding, very successful industries that helped make Belfast one of the fastest rising cities in the United Kingdom. This led to a lot of wealth, a lot of pride as well too, and many of them felt that Home Rule is going to jeopardise that pride, going to jeopardise those industries, and going to jeopardise their religious freedoms as well. A lot of them said that Home Rule is Rome Rule. This is a picture of what Belfast they thought Belfast would look like under Home Rule. So they formed a lot of resistance to Home Rule, but despite this here, in 1912 Home Rule was passed by Parliament at last. However, there was a 2-year delay between that being implemented. In these 2 years, it led to a lot of tension between Catholic and Protestant, between North and South. In the north you had the UVF set up, the Ulster Volunteer Force, an armed organisation. In the south you had the IVF set up, the Irish Volunteer Force. Both looked as if they were going to have a civil war over whether Home Rule was actually introduced or not. This looked like a very bloody omen of what was to come. However, it was rescued by another bloody civil war, this time in Europe in a way. The World War I broke out, and it caused a catastrophe for Home Rule as well too. It was put on hold. That led to 1916. It led to the Easter Rising, by which time the mood for Home Rule had completely dissipated, and people now wanted complete independence from Britain. I hope this little video was useful. It's quite a challenging topic, but it's worthwhile finding out about. But I hope this is useful. Thank you and good luck.